Okay, folks, welcome back to yet another episode of Fresh Juice, an indie game podcast. I am one of your hosts, Tommy Fresh. Joined as always, it is.
Matty Juice. Give that
Whoa!
mother freaker the keys.
Yeah, right now. Welcome back to the show, folks. We have a great episode today. We're going to be talking about Raccoin, a coin pusher roguelike. And we'll see if it's good. There was a lot of hype around this. I think there's a lot of people playing it, and I have no idea how you feel about it, and you have no idea about how I feel about it. So this one's going to be fun because I think we might land in a different world on this one.
Oh, we will see. I
I
have
think
some
so.
thoughts.
I got some thoughts too. I try not to, but we got some news stuff as well, and I also just am happy to be here on the podcast. My favorite place to be. So we're gonna have a good time. Now, before we get to all the stuff we gotta get to, what's new? How was your Easter weekend?
Yeah. It was good. Let's see. Saturday. Well, I don't get off on Friday. I know some companies and all that get off for Good Friday. I never have. Which would be great to get that off, but I don't. So I was working Friday, and then Saturday, I actually Lady Juice is now starting to tour. She's like a tour guide in one of the, I won't say the town, but one of the local towns around here. It was her first tour that she did. It went really well, and during that time,
Rawway, right?
yeah, Galway.
Rawway.
Rawway. I was like, yeah, in Kilkenny. She's in Kilkenny. And yeah, so while she was doing that, I was on daddy duty. So I was like, all right, what are we gonna do? So went out with my parents to like a Apple Street Kitchen, which is like a place in Tinton Falls, New Jersey. It's like a modern-y kind of farm to table kind of vibe. And it was good. I've had it once before that we went for brunch, and it was a good time. And then we actually went on over to Red Bank, New Jersey. Shout out to Red Bank. It was
Shout
a
out.
good time. And I didn't realize there's a store there called Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash. It's kind of like a comic booky store. And Kevin Smith was there. There was a huge line. I guess he goes pretty often, but
Mm-hmm.
people were lined up to see him. And I will say there was a common theme among everyone who was lined up to see him. They all look like the same person. Maybe
Yeah.
you can guess who that type of person is. But I was like, wow,
They look like Kevin Smith.
they look like exactly. They look like him. But so that was cool. And then we just went to a few different shops there. I actually ran into someone from my elementary school there that was
Whoa.
working in one of the shops. She's like, Matt? And I'm just staring at her. She's like, "You don't remember me, do you?" And then I did remember her. But yeah, I was very surprised she recognized me because the last time I saw her, I was 12. Um, and so it's been a while. But yeah, so it was an eventful, tiring Saturday, and then Easter Sunday. Um, we had some breakfast at the house. My parents brought some like French toast and like potatoes and stuff and bagels over. So that was good. And then we went to my wife's side of the family for Easter dinner, which was great. It's like a big Italian dinner. You know, we got the antipasto and like stuffed shells and just like just a lot of cheese and a lot of meat, and it was delicious. But we ended up having to leave a little early just because it was Baby Juice's bedtime, and she was getting pretty upset. But it was kind of our first reveal of Baby Juice to my wife's side of the family. At least there wasn't a lot of people there, but it was everyone was excited to see her. So that was a lot of fun. Just kind of, seeing her reactions to stuff. And there were little kids there that were saying hi to her and all that. So it was a fun time, but very tiring weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And just back at work again today. But that's what I'm noticing lately. Like, I already know stuff I'm doing next weekend. I'm like, man, that weekend's gonna fly by. It's like any weekend I have where I have just one day of no plans, I am like so grateful for, because it's just like, oh, we can just chill. Maybe we, walk around the block, or like go to the mall, or just, something really like low key. Uh, so yeah, looking forward to those days coming up. But yeah, it was a packed weekend, Easter weekend, but it was good, filled with good times, good food, good people, good baby. So, how about you? How was
Nice.
your Easter weekend?
Easter weekend was good. Friday, I did a stream with a bunch of other Flesh and Blood creators, and it was a lot of fun. We did this like thing called a cube draft, where basically it's like a really wacky version of the game that we play, and me and my chat came up with something a little crazy that I was doing. So that was really cool to
Nice.
see it all come together, and it was like, is this gonna work? And ended up being, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think it was the coolest like deck that came out of it. So that was
Yeah.
pretty fun. And I always forget how much I love streaming. It's a good time. It's just like you get to just be crazy, I think, and like just be on, which is
Yeah.
cool. And that's always fun. And then Thursday, just kind of like did more work around the house. I had to, wood glue some stuff, cut some odds and ends and wood glue it,
Yeah.
really interesting.
Some man stuff. Wood
Some man
glue.
stuff. Yeah. And today I actually had to pick up a chop saw and a nail gun to do some other stuff this
You just had
weekend.
to pick it up though. You didn't use it.
Yeah, I'm like, this is nice.
What
This
is a
is a
chop
good.
saw?
That's the one where kind of, it's like
Oh,
kind of on an
oh,
axis.
yeah. Okay, one of those.
Yeah,
There's a lot
yeah.
of saws out there.
I know.
Yeah. There's
You
so
go
many.
to like Lowe's or Home Depot. You're like, I need a saw for something, and they're like, what kind?
Yeah.
And you're like, one that cuts things. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? And then they're like, we have the oscillating saw, we got a jigsaw, we got a chop saw, we got a floor
Yeah.
saw, we got a table saw.
We got a seesaw. So
There's a seesaw, but that's in our outdoor section. But yeah, so it's all fun. I luckily borrowed this chop saw from my pops because they are expensive. But yeah, so doing some housework. We went out to dinner on Saturday. You got to give a shout out to Mustafa's in
mm,
Long Valley, New Jersey. It's a like Turkish Mediterranean restaurant. And we go in really small, right? I think they mostly do takeout, but like they have some tables, so we're like, all right, let's sit down, whatever. And it's basically just like one woman working the front, and it's like a grandma, right? And
yeah.
she's like the size of Danny DeVito, right? And comes over, she's like thick accent. Immediately, she's like, "I like your tattoo." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." And she looks at Lady Fresh. She's like, "Where's your tattoo?" She's like, I got one right here, So, and that was interesting. And then like this is the first for me. I was asked if I'm Arabic because
Oh.
of the way I ordered hummus, because I said hummus and not hummus or whatever, however other people say it. I
Wait,
was like,
how
I
do you
guess it
say
was
it? It's
hummus.
hummus.
Hummus. I guess maybe I
Oh,
put a
did you
little
put a
bit.
little
I maybe
English
I
on
put a
there?
little.
Yeah,
I put a little, yeah, a little
or
Arabic
whatever.
on there.
Yeah, a little Arabic on there.
Yeah,
Wow.
I put a little oomph into it. She's like, "Are you Arabic?" And I was like, "No." Then she looked at me and she's like, "You're Irish." I'm like, "Yeah, okay." All right, you
That's the
clocked it.
next logical assumption.
Yeah, she looked at my eyes, and I guess that was it. But
Yeah.
that was that was funny. The food was good though. It was damn good, and probably maybe one of the best falafels I've ever had,
Ooh.
which was I love a good falafel. Now Easter was cool. It was fun. Just went to the in-laws. Did stuff with them. We played some Hot Streak, which was cool. Great board game. And Dangle sucks. Is the worst character. It seems like every time we play, Dangle just loses, and
Yeah.
people have an affinity for Dangle because Dangle's cool.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like people want Dangle to win
Yeah.
because he's a cool looking fish, but
Yeah.
it's just
Check
not on the
out Hot Streak,
cards.
folks.
Yeah,
Exactly, it's not in the cards.
yeah.
But I tell you what, who did win every single time? The Fresh Juice Discord. It's free for everybody to join. Check it out. It is in the show notes below, folks. It's a good time over there. We got to get into the show, and we are going to kick it off with a banger of a juicy take, a hot take from Matthew this week.
All right. Well, this hot take, this juicy take, is not indie game related, but it has to do with a game that was very impactful for the world. I'll say. So
Okay.
this is about Pokemon Go. Okay, and the
Okay.
reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm just adding a little context before I get to the actual hot part of the take, but um when we were at PAX, obviously our cousin Dan, very into the Earthlings. I almost forgot what they were called already.
Yeah, we didn't
Um,
even talk about it last
which
week.
yeah, which are it's like these physical things you get. It's not really related to Pokemon Go, but anything that's like a game, but also kind of tied to the physical world, I always relate it back to Pokemon Go.
Sure.
So it's kind of like these characters that you trade and you level them up in the game and all that stuff. So
And it's mobile. I think that's like the
yes,
most, yeah.
yeah, it's mobile and it really is not like Pokemon Go where you're going to certain places to get certain things. You're more kind of meeting up with people to trade and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, my hot take is that there will not be an IRL game like Pokemon Go that's as impactful until the main devices that people use are not phones. So I'm kind of thinking that there are so many clones of Pokemon Go, and none of them have ever reached that level of Pokemon Go. But there was also never anything really before Pokemon Go that tried to even do what Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
did, that I know of at least. And I would imagine I would know if it was really successful. So what I'm thinking is my hot take is that as we progress, I guess, as a society, eventually to be more, I would imagine like meta glasses kind of thing, where eventually I imagine that's, Google Glass kind of thing is going to be maybe what more and more people have. And until we get to that point, I don't see there being another game that is as impactful, regardless of how powerful our devices get. It needs to essentially be a different type of device for us to then
Mm-hmm.
venture into, oh, this is, maybe it's Pokemon again that like crushes it, right? But
Sure.
there needs to be a new way to experience things versus just like through the phone camera or just like on a mobile app. And again, the reason I kind of bring this up is I feel like almost every year we go to PAX, there's always something that's trying to like fill that Pokemon Go void. And I just never see it ever take off, right?
Yeah.
And Pokemon Go is just so unique in the way it did things. And obviously there's the nostalgia factor, but I actually think it has nothing to do with the games themselves that is the reason we're failing or they're failing to compete with Pokemon Go. It's the devices. It's like everything is just on a phone. What more
Mm-hmm.
could you possibly do with a phone than what Pokemon Go already does, making you go to different places using augmented reality if you want to. I feel like we need to like once we actually get other devices that are more common, then maybe we'll start to see people experiment with like, I'm walking in this park and everything looks like Minecraft, right? Or like
Yeah.
something like that. Like it needs to take that leap for us to get a game as impactful as Pokemon Go again. That's a long way to, it's a long hot take, but that's just, I was just thinking about that over the weekend and I was like, I'm going to just make that the take. So I don't know how hot it is, but it's a take.
Well, here's the thing. I think you're right to a degree. I think that maybe we never get something.
That
Like
could be it too. Yeah.
like Pokemon Go, like really was kind of the pinnacle, right? The peak. And like in terms of mobile gaming and how it got people like kind of all doing the same thing, right? Like, every once in a while there's a mobile game that people get into, right? Like, and it's like viral in a way, like Flappy
Yeah.
Birds or yeah, Clash of Clans and Clash Royale. Like these are all huge games, but like Pokemon Go, like grandmas and grandpas were out playing Pokemon Go,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if we're ever going to really see that again. Like, you're right. So many IPs tried to do what Pokemon Go did. Garfield, Ghostbuster. I mean, Wizards Unite. I mean, like, we
Yeah.
know our cousin Dan really was invested in that. And it just, it Pokemon already had a gamer base built in where like something like Harry Potter doesn't. And then like I thought maybe Minecraft Earth would be big.
Yeah.
And I played Minecraft Earth and I thought that was sick. I thought it was like so much more intuitive than like something like Pokemon Go. And it didn't matter. It's
Yeah.
Minecraft's like one of the biggest, it's this generation's Mario, right? Like it's that big. And it still didn't matter. It's not Pokemon. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it might just have to be like you're right. It might just have to be Pokemon again.
Yeah. It could be Pokemon again. I just feel like we need, or not that we need, but like this, it won't happen until most people are using something other than a phone, which like I don't even know if we'll be
Mm-hmm.
alive for, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
that's just I don't think we're ever gonna get something in our lifetime as impactful as Pokemon Go. Like you said, it's not just gamers playing it, it's grandmas. I remember walking to work because at the time I was working in the city in New York City, and I would just be like standing outside like a gym, and all of a sudden people would like people that didn't know each other. Everyone would be standing there. We'd be looking and be like, "Are you at the gym?" Yep, yep, okay, at the Pokemon stop or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just nothing has ever happened like that since then to me, and it just blew my mind. So yeah, I think I was looking into meta glasses and all that stuff, and I know they have a version where like there's a little kind of heads up display screen. Like I really feel like it's gonna be whatever Gen Z or Gen Alpha like gets really into device
Mm-hmm.
wise. Maybe we then see something that like kind of takes over the world a little bit, and maybe it's not for us, right? Like maybe
Yeah.
we're gonna be like, I'm not wearing the freaking headset walking around, you know. But
Does it got Balatro on it? I ain't
right,
playing
yeah, right, yeah.
it.
Maybe that's the Balatro Go, you know. There you go.
Oh.
There you go. You got to collect the
Yeah.
jokers. Um, but yeah, anyway, that's the hot take. Speaking of Balatro though, did you see what Jack Black said about Balatro? Did you see that at
um.
all? They were asked,
Yeah.
they were like,
He
what?
wants to do like a movie
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
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 Which
Yeah.
I am all for, but it's
Yeah.
not going to be good. I don't,
No,
but
terrible,
I would go
terrible.
see it. I'd see it
Yeah.
multiple times. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like you could just I forget how he phrased it, like how the story would be, but it was kind of yeah. You just have to make up something,
yeah.
but
I think he was saying like the Jokers would be from like different planets or something, like invading
yeah,
Earth or something like that.
probably, which just
Yeah,
makes no sense.
yeah,
But how about we just get the free update first? We can talk about a
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Uh, Now, speaking of updates, notable releases this week. First, we got a game called Card Coder. You like card games? What about making cards? This is what Card Coder seems to be about. This is a card building roguelike, a novel mix of tactical card battles, inventory management, and roguelike deck building where you create custom cards during play. Kind of interesting. Honestly, like in general, just kind of looks pretty janky, but maybe that's the vibe here. I'm not sure. It would be something I'd be willing to try out. I guess it just came out today as it were recording.
Yeah.
But I don't know I didn't take a look at any the reviews.
Yeah,
Mostly
10
positive here.
reviews. It's got positive rating. It seems like people like the concept, but uh not the UI. I keep
Mm-hmm.
seeing like while the UI can be a little difficult to grasp, Someone else mentioned it too. Sadly, the hardest fight in this game is against the UI, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely a really interesting concept. I think I would think balancing this game would be the hardest part, and maybe the part people would get frustrated with. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I didn't see a lot of people kind of mentioning that. But I think it's a really cool concept. I love developers trying out new things. I think it has a great name as well, which kind of plays into the marketing side of it. But I don't think that this is a game for everybody. Like for me specifically, I'm not the biggest like deck builder guy, and I definitely don't want to try to build my own cards because
Yeah.
I already get overwhelmed with regular deck builders. Building my own cards is a whole nother world. But I think for someone like you or like you're like the Flesh and Blood community, the people that are really into it, they might be like, "Oh, I'll try this," right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it could be interesting. Um, yeah. So is that like, what are you fully thinking about? Like, would you try a game like this as someone that's into this genre?
I don't know. I mean, like, I to be honest, if this like looked nicer, right,
Hmm.
it would be easier to kind of like throw myself into it. I think because it looks pretty brutal, right? And I think that's what the reviews are kind of reflecting. I I like the concept. I don't know if actually it would be that fun, right? Like in
Hmm.
the end, you know, I understand what they're going for, but to me, it feels like why would we do this? Like all these other deck builders have ways to like kind of enhance the cards anyway. That's kind of
Right.
what you're doing, right? So it's not that crazy of a thing. And like, yeah, maybe balancing would be hard, but maybe this is kind of a game where they're like, if they were like, hey, this is a game where we want you to break it, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I could see that being interesting for people. So but I really don't think it's for me based on how it looks, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I think I can definitely get that from it. It kind of reminds me of like something that would be like how Gwent is in The Witcher, right? Like this feels like
Mm-hmm.
it's part of another game.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it's, when it says like 10 billion possibilities, I'm like, okay, that's great. But like, that's overwhelming, like I, I kind of feel like that's a little bit of a fluff number there. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, I appreciate devs trying out something new, regardless. But you're right. This is almost like, and we'll talk about a game like this in a second, but those MMO games that are just focused on the raid, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
like, if you like the enhancement part of deck building games, this is the
Yeah.
game for you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good point because all these games have ways you can manipulate the cards. So if you're really into that part of it, I guess Card Coder could be for you. But um, what else do we have on the list here that's coming
Uh
out?
Yo, can we get some chop chains the Aki way? This is another this is an Isler arcade game called Chop Chains. It looks fun, right? Like, these Isler games are fun and cute and good ways to like waste some time. Nice
Yeah.
big old skill tree on this one. This one comes out on the 10th. And yeah, this one should be interesting. I mean, I know you've kind of gotten into this genre a little bit since we started doing the podcast. I should
Yeah.
probably ask you, is this something that you're into?
Well, I do love chopping trees in survival games, and I have been getting more into incremental games. So this is one I'm going to definitely keep my eye on. I like the art style, although I
Mm-hmm.
will say that the cover art looks totally
Yeah.
different than how I would think the game looked, which is kind of weird. But yeah, it's something that I would, probably look at the reviews for, see what people are saying, and try it out. Um, and just, I know this wasn't in our notable releases because this is not a release, but this reminded me, I actually recently tried a demo for a different incremental game, called Desktop Driller. It was actually sent to us by our buddy Matt, different Matt. Shout out to him. This is a cool one though. and I recommend it for anyone who's into incremental games because it just kind of runs on your desktop. You can like minimize it, and every keystroke you have or mouse movement, your guy digs deeper down. And so you
Nice,
can
nice.
start like unlocking stuff. So it's a really like passive game where you're like you're not even looking most of the time. You can if you
Yeah.
want, you can leave it open, but I just opened it today when I was working and I was like, "Oh wow, I dug down quite a bit, got some upgrades." So just another cool one that this is a demo that just recently came out, Desktop Driller. So shout out to
That's like
them.
the Pokemon like Tamagotchi thing you would get with the DS games where you can put one of the Pokemon in there and then when you're
Yeah.
walking it would like level up and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So that's like that, but without the physical activity.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah. But it's a cool little game if you're into this is like the first like desktop kind of game. You know, there's like I think Rusty's Retirement was the real big one that got people into like these games run on the bottom of your desktop screen while you're doing other stuff. So this is the kind of my first venture into that, area, and it's a cool game. So anyway, sorry, I know that wasn't part of the list, but just made me think of it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, no. Never do it again. No. Next game we have is actually a game we're going to be reviewing next week. We got sent keys. It's Skull Horde, which comes from us from the creators of Board Blasters, a game we loved. 8-bit Skull. I played a decent amount of this demo, and I had a great time with the demo. I'm super stoked to hop in and start playing the full release to see, you know, did they stick the landing here because it was looking good to me. You didn't get a chance to play the demo.
No, I did.
I'm
I played a little bit of it.
okay. Cool.
Yeah, not as much as you, but yeah, I share the same sentiment. Like, I had a lot of fun playing it. Very excited to, we actually could hop it now and play.
Yeah.
Shout out
Let's
to
end the
8-Bit Skull.
podcast.
Yeah, let's just end it here. But yeah, very, very excited for this one. And this is also a genre I feel like both of us weren't really into, the auto battler genre,
Mm-hmm.
that now we kind of give those games another look, and this seems like it'll be a gem, so hopefully they nail the launch.
Yeah, they'd be excited to hop into that one. And then one more game that came out today, actually, of us recording is Null Point Protocol. You kind of mentioned it before. These games that are taking one aspect of a popular genre and saying, "Hey, what don't you love doing that? Let's do it just only that in the game." So this is kind of like taking the boss fights or raids out of MMOs and letting you do it with a couple of your buddies. Looks kind of fun. I think we've seen a
Yeah.
couple of these style games.
Yeah, I think what I like about this one in particular is I feel like a lot of the games that try to do this like slice of an MMO, they try to do like World of Warcraft kind of graphics, right? For nostalgic reasons. This one is like way more playful, kind of cute looking, um, and just a different approach to it. Like looking at this, I would think, oh, this is just a co-op, maybe party game, right? And not like a slice of an MMO where it's
Mm-hmm.
just the raid. So yeah, this like I feel like this could be a good like couch co-op kind of
Yeah.
experience. Uh, but yeah, pretty cool. It's got mostly positive reviews so far. Only 11 reviews have come in, but uh, you know,
Looks like most of the
yeah,
negative stuff is about performance, which obviously, hopefully, would
yeah,
be improved. But that's important. It's something we talk about
yeah. I
in our
also
reviews.
just realized that there is like a user defined tag you can put on a game called replay value.
Oh,
That's kind of the first time I've seen that, so it's kind of interesting that I guess this one people, say it has decent replay value enough to have it be a tag, but there you go. So
there you go. There you go. We got to get a tag for Fresh Juice. This is
yeah,
Fresh Juice reviewed.
yeah,
Um, now, speaking of, okay, this is a terrible. The Triple I showcase is coming again this week on the 9th. So tomorrow, if you're listening to this when this comes out, which why wouldn't you listen to this episode when it came out? This is the third edition of the AAA initiative,
I think so. Yeah.
and this is kind of just a showcase for indie games. I'm trying to remember what we saw last year, but
I think uh what's that game with the
Neverway was
climbing?
shown. Oh yeah, Cairn.
Karen, I think, was shown there. I don't remember what the premieres were because I know there's some games that have already been announced. But what I do like about this is there's no hosts. You know, that's kind of their tagline: no hosts, no ads, just games,
Yeah.
which is great. You know, like just show me the game trailers, and yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about all this stuff next week after it's revealed. But I'm actually, I don't know if surprise is the right word, but it's back. Like, you know, with
Yeah.
these things that you never know how what the reception is, how many people are watching it, especially when there's no ads, you know, how are they funding this? But I think it comes from a place of where indie devs are just really eager to get their games out there. So they, you know, they probably submit them and then they just kind of there's a team that chooses which ones are shown. I don't really know, but it's good to see it back. Is basically what I'm saying because it seems like this is becoming almost like a pillar in the indie space. I've seen a lot of people mention Triple I that you know I never really heard of it before. Obviously, it had its first showcase, and now it just seems like it's part of like indie conversation.
Yeah, it's the metrics must be good for it to keep coming back and studios wanting to be involved with it. And honestly, it's like some of these showcases, like they say, like can be like brutal. Was like we just want to see the games. Like this is all fluff. It feels like, and you see like three games.
Yeah,
So it should be interesting. I felt like last year's was kind of weak for me personally in terms of games I was excited about, but it's still cool to see all of them kind of get shown, and I'm excited to see what we're gonna see in this one. I think
yeah,
Megacrit was involved with last year or 2 years ago.
yeah.
You know, talking about Slay the Spire 2 and stuff like that. So always some kind of bangers mixed in there. So should be interesting. Now, a couple small little news tidbits before we get to our review here. Ocarina of Time remake leak,
Oh,
apparently. So, people are saying that Nintendo's absolutely furious. There was allegedly some leaks about Ocarina of Time remake, like total, you know, redo on that, not redo, but like a total upgrade on that game, which is one of the best games of all time, if not the best game of all time. Just got to give a shout out to it because
yeah.
it if it's real, I'm stoked.
Yeah, just give it to me now, please.
Yeah.
I just, I've even heard some people talk about this since the leak because I think there's a good amount of people out there that haven't played Ocarina of Time just because
Hmm.
the last release. Oh, I guess the last release technically was like on Switch Online, right? But
Yeah.
before that, it was like the 3DS, and some people didn't even own it. So I've seen a lot of people like say they want to try out the game even before the remaster comes out, whenever that is. Um, but I've also seen a lot of conversation about, oh, when you play this, think of it like these systems, this type of gameplay didn't exist before. Like this was a
Hmm.
pioneer in the space, and you can then realize the influence that Ocarina had across, all these other games and genres. So I think I think this is huge if this is real, not just for like fans like us, but for people that never realized what the impact of Ocarina was on gaming because they'll get to experience it in like the best version possible, graphically at least, So yeah, I'm stoked for this. There's also a rumor that like Star Fox 64 or Star Fox is getting a new game. I forget if it's a
Hmm.
remaster or if it's just a new Star Fox, but the fact that Nintendo is apparently furious about this means that it was true. So
Yeah,
yeah, we'll
Nintendo's allegedly furious.
yes,
We will
yes,
see.
yeah,
If I leaked it, I wanted it to be like real. I would say, yeah, I heard Nintendo's
yeah,
really mad about
yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah,
uh, yeah, but yeah, like without Ocarina of Time, there's no Skyrim. There's no Elden Ring. There's nothing
yeah,
like that, right? It is the game, right? And I still love it to this day. Now,
yeah.
some other news, video game related. Resident Evil, the movie, it just got a test screening, and we just got reactions from it. This is something that I've just been kind of following because I love the director, and this is the other thing that you had said.
Sorry,
But
Resident Evil
Resident
test.
Evil test screening. So the test screening was like really positive. It was like 90 minutes of just like pure intensity, right? Which is great. First of all, 90 minutes. Love that.
Yeah.
Right? Like some movies like 3 hours. Um and I guess it kind of is a story of, so Austin Abrams plays the main character, and if you don't know who Austin Abrams is, Austin Abrams played the junkie in Weapons, and he's like a courier or something like that in this, and he goes to like a raccoon. What's the name of the Resident Evil corporation? Is it Raccoon Corp or something like that?
Um, Raccoon City,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. I don't
I'm
know.
not really familiar, but goes to like this hospital and like kind of gets trapped in there. It's like mayhem breaks out for 90 minutes, right?
Umbrella
Sounds great.
Corporation.
Umbrella,
That's it.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and like a lot of positive reactions. And then, I'm getting all this on TikTok, right? I'm like, sick. Obviously, Zach Kreger made Barbarian, made Weapons. I was not surprised that Resident Evil wasn't going to be a banger, or was going to be a banger. Wasn't going to be a banger. I don't know.
Yeah.
I forget. I forget how that sentence went.
You're not
And we're gonna.
surprised
I'm not
about the
surprised.
good feedback.
Yeah, the good feedback,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to see it. And then you just look into the comments like, "This is an abomination. Not using any of the characters from the game. How dare they? Blah 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 blah." It's just so funny. Like maybe like they trust this guy to like
Yeah.
not ruin like what you already think. Like, listen, if you want fan service, go see that Super Mario Galaxy movie, which is just all fan service
Yeah.
apparently. And if you want like an actual story that makes sense, like go see, a movie by somebody who's like putting like hard work into it. So I just thought it was funny that like, whoa, it's getting all this great reactions. Oh, these gamers don't give a shit. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's. I mean, it's almost like kind of predictable at this point. But
Plus, it's like, it's not like this is the first Resident Evil movie, right? They've had
yeah,
other ones. We were talking a little bit before the show. Like, they've had other ones that I would imagine have the characters of the game and they weren't well received, right? So it's
yeah,
like, you kind of want something a little fresh. I've even, as a Gears of War fan, there's like always talks about a movie, but I've even heard rumors of, oh, they might not focus on the characters that are in the game. And I'm like, that's fine with me
hmm
because there's a bunch of other storylines, that take place in that universe. And I feel like you could kind of say that about anything. So, and personally, the Resident Evil games I've played, I have never cared about who I'm playing as. Now, I'm not a purist for Resident Evil, but I've
hmm
played a few of the games, and to me, it's just about the overall experience of like a horror game, right? I'm not. I don't care that I'm playing as Leon or what. I couldn't even tell you. I don't. I think that's his name. Um,
yeah, is one of them.
yeah, like one of them. So for the purists out there, whatever, like maybe they'll be upset about it. But at the end of the day, you just want a good movie, and hopefully, it delivers with this. But this makes me excited because obviously I liked Barbarian and Weapons, and the fact that Zach Kreger's entering like the gaming world. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
if Resident Evil's good, what other gaming? Maybe he'll do Gears of War. Like
yeah. You never know,
like you
right?
never know. Or maybe he'll do another horror game.
I think
So Yeah.
Personally, for me, like I'm not a Resident Evil fan. I watched the movies, which were not really that good. Let's be real. Um, but like the thing that excites me as like a movie fan is like people are saying from the test screening that it's reminiscent of Mad Max Fury Road, like in terms of like just nonstop, which obviously is one of the greatest action movies of all time, and big emphasis on practical effects, which always I think make the horror movies is better always.
Hmm.
And the and for the Resident Evil fans, allegedly the production design is reminiscent of like the early games, like Resident 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
So um, should be interesting. I just wanted to bring that up because it's exciting, it's gaming related, and I don't know. It's like I just the gamers. I just like
Yeah.
I have this like a parasocial conflict with them all the time. It's like every time I see them talk, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So
And we'll see. I mean, will this have a better story than the Resident Evil games? I mean, obviously to you it will. It has to.
no, that's not what I said. I said that it's a better medium for a story to be told, but but yeah. Anyway, and then one other thing because you had brought this up because there's a indie Game Pass kind of thing, Indie Pass, that's going to
Yes.
be launched, which I think we might check out just because we should, right? And
Yeah, I have heard some not so great things about this actually.
okay,
But I still think it's worth us, worth checking out for like a month. But apparently this is kind of um a
scam.
regurgitation of like another service that this person who has created IndiePass like has made, where it's like these are the same games, I guess. I was trying to fully understand it because there's people that know more about it, but um this is apparently not as good as it kind of sounds, basically, is what people
Mm,
were saying, because there's just I think the person who created this also wanted all the developers that were wanted to take part in it to split 50-50, and indie devs were not a fan of that, because
mm,
they can publish their game on Steam and it's not even a 50-50 split, right? So um and I don't even think Game Pass works like that. So yeah, there's just some negative discourse around it, but I still think it's worth us checking it out, and we'll let you guys know if we think it's worth it. Um, yeah, so we'll see what happens with it,
okay.
but not a great reception from what I've been seeing about this
Interesting.
announcement.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, we'll talk about that probably in a future episode. Now, let's get to the review of the game.
Now that we're 40
Rack.
minutes in, yeah.
Yeah. No. This
Yeah.
one's going to be easy to talk about.
Yeah.
Raccoin Coin Pusher Roguelike, which is the full title, by the way. It's on Steam. It's developed by Dora Raccoon and published by PlayStack. You might know PlayStack from the publishing of Balatro. It's as I said, it was on Steam. It's $11.99. It's coin pushing dopamine machine. Raccoin is a roguelike deck builder where you combine special coins with powerful items to trigger wildly satisfying combos, stack shiny towers, spin the lucky wheel, and shake the machine until all the coins drop. Gameplay. Let's talk about it because this is the meat and potatoes of this game. If you know what a coin pusher is, this is that kind of game. It's where you throw coins onto a top level, and then they will push coins off that top level onto the bottom level, which will push coins off that bottom level, hopefully, into the reward area, right?
Yep.
So this is a lot like Balatro in the way where you have a target amount of points you're going to have to reach every round, and this is interesting. Like you go through like 16 rounds of this, right? Once you hit it, you can go into the shop where you're going to buy different kind of keychains, which are like your jokers or your relics or whatever that kind of give you kind of static abilities. There's like one use items that can do anything from like kind of like a spell to like placing a item onto the board that changes the way things get pushed and interacted with. And then you can also buy coins and then also slots for the coins. You start off with like one slot really for the coins, but then you can build it out vertically and horizontally based on how many coins you want in there. And the coins all have different kinds of abilities. Like some will stick to each other. Some will be like every coin that it's touching is going to give you more points when it's scored. And yeah, that's kind of the gist of this. Like there's bad coins that show up, and those will kind of have negative effects on your run that you have to kind of take into consideration. The special coins get shot separately from your regular coins, which you start out with I think 20, and then you can kind of refill X amount of times those coins if you don't hit your target goal. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's like my experience with this game was like I played a decent amount of it, and I had played the playtest too. Um, I don't know if I'm the target demo for this per se because this is not what I would call an action packed game, right? Like you know,
You're pushing
it's not.
coins.
You're pushing coins. That's what you're doing. You're pushing coins, and like I get it. Like yeah, oh, but Tommy, you love Balatro. But like as soon as I play my hand in Balatro, I get score. Right. In this, I gotta place the coins. Then they gotta push up the top, and then they gotta push up the bottom, and then I'll get the points. Right. It's not at its core root like something that I am enjoying a lot. Now that's not to say there are moments in this game where you're like, wow, it's so cool. Like, oh, I built up a tower, or, I got like a really good combo going, and then I got a really good spin on the wheel and something crazy happened. It's like, oh, dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. That's really cool. I think that's kind of like where people are going to get the most enjoyment from this game. And like, I can see myself getting into this, like, on a work from home day, like have it on one screen. It's like, all right, do some work here, pop over to the other screen. Let me throw some coins out there. It feels more idle than anything.
Mm.
And, I don't love the deck builder tag here because it just doesn't really feel like a deck builder, to be honest. But I could see why people are really loving this game. I just really don't know if I'm the target demo. I think there's it's more of like a hey, here's some crazy stuff you can do with these coins thing, rather than like I don't think there's like an aha moment for me in this game where I'm like, aha, like I finally get it. I think I got it pretty quickly. I'm like, yeah, I want to like use really good coins to like kind of like push these out and like find some really good combos to like get the wheel spinning, try to break this game, and like all these coins going. Really cool. That being said, I mean, it's like I still enjoyed my time with it. I just don't know if it has like a staying power for me. I don't know if the replay tag would be showing up for me on this one. But I think for what it is, I think this is probably the best it could be, if that makes sense, for what a coin pusher game like that's a Balatro like, which I think this is kind of is. And we'll talk about there's more similarities as you go on in the Balatro world. But yeah, that's my take on the gameplay. Interested to hear what you have to say though.
So it's funny that, earlier you were mentioning we might land in like different places. I don't think we are, because the first thing I was going to say is that I was never someone that tried like sought out these coin pusher games at like arcades and things like that. And anytime I did play a coin pusher game, it was about as short-lived as what I was experiencing in this game of like enjoyment. So I totally agree with you saying like this is as good as it can get for a game like this. But I also don't think I'm the target demographic for it, just because it is kind of sluggish. Even when you start, getting some interesting coins in there, and explosions are happening or different like synergies are going on, at the end of the day, it's you still have to feed the coins in and wait till they get pushed and then see what happens after that. And at the same time of this game being very very idle, like what you were mentioning, I also think there's just too much going on, like around, like too many different thing mechanics, right? There's a ticket system, there's an exchange system, that you can use. You can shake the whole, the whole kind of coin machine if you're running out of coins or if you're out of exchanges. There's this those spinning wheel that goes off. There's those passive kind of things that happen. There's those one time like items you can use. Then there's the different coins you can get from the shops. Like I was like, this is I feel like this is too much. Like I could easily cut out one of the, like, get rid of the wheel or get rid of the one time items, right? Like I just feel like I don't need all that kind of stuff, because it got to a point where I was just like, this is, I don't even know what I know I need to hit that goal to move to the next level, but should I be like, do I care about the synergies that I have for my passives? Do I need to care more about what types of coins I have? Like I just felt like it was just a lot kind of thrown at you. And the tutorial did a fine job. It's very Balatro like, where there's a little like raccoon guy talking to you, and he introduces all the different mechanics. And I understood that, but I just kind of felt like there was a little too much going on. Um, and also, I think that you were what is it, 15 or 16 levels you go through. Um, I didn't feel like it ramped up very well. Like it was like the first 8 levels were like I was in them for like less than 10 seconds,
Yeah.
where I just started and all of a sudden it was like goal reached. I'm like, okay. And I move on. And then all of a sudden you just hit a wall of like, and this wall that you're hitting, at least for me, it's not apparent right away, because like you mentioned, you have to wait. And then I was out of coins. I was out of exchanges, because you only get a certain amount of exchanges, which are the exchange. What are they again? You're exchanging tickets for coins. Is how that works. So you can kind
Hmm.
of get more coins. So uh, once you're out of that, it gives you like one shake that you can do, and you can try to get the coins moving. And then after that, it'll prompt you after a little bit and just be like, end the run. I'm like, okay, well, why were the first 8 levels like I feel like I didn't get even a real chance to like learn my synergies or learn the game before it got like too difficult. Or not even, I don't even know if necessarily it was difficult, but it just didn't ramp up as gradually as I wanted it to, which I feel like, I hate to keep comparing it to Balatro, but we're going to do that a lot with this one. Um Balatro, it can be hard in the beginning if you're not getting the right cards, but at the end of the day, you understand how poker works. Like you
Hmm.
you can almost like ramp up at your own speed based on like the cards you get. In this game, I just, because it feels like so much is out of your control, that some of these levels were just easy for reasons of things I didn't even do. I was like, I guess I'm just moving on to the next level. So, um, and then, oh yeah, there's the key, and then yeah, the keychain system. That's what like the passives are or whatever. It just, I feel like this game is a little all over the place, and I've never played another coin pusher like roguelike game, so that's why I agree with you where this is probably the best in this type of
Hmm.
genre. But I don't know. I'm also just not a coin pusher guy. Like I just never enjoyed those games. Like I know they can be very lucrative for tickets at the arcade and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
it's also just I'd never played them because they weren't exciting to me. Um, so this is a little more exciting than those arcade versions, but to me, it's yeah, it's almost like more of an idle game. And I actually would have preferred if it was marketed like that, because maybe I would have kind of gone in with that mindset and got a little bit more enjoyment out of it. But I just think that there's issues, I'll talk a little bit more about that, like the UI and stuff, but it didn't hook me. Like in similar ways to Game Bonanza did, where I just kind of feel like this is just too much and a little overwhelming, especially if you're not already into coin pushers. Maybe I could see how people who love coin pusher games would get really into this. But
Oh
again,
yeah.
I don't think, I'm the target demographic either, for a game like this. So we are landing in the same kind of spot. And I did go into this game with pretty high hopes for the gameplay because it looked really fun. I didn't play any play tests or anything like that. Um, but it just didn't. I was hoping it would take away that kind of sluggish part of the coin pusher stuff where like you just crazy things are going on and maybe I had a little bit more control over certain aspects of the game, but just not the case. My favorite part is when the coins stack and then you get them to knock
Yeah.
down, right? But it doesn't happen like super often. So anyway, that's where I'm at with the gameplay as well. It just didn't do it for me personally. Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like almost like I'm watching this gameplay that we have up, for the YouTube uh, watchers and Spotify listeners, and I'm like, was I just playing it wrong? Because this person's just spamming coins, and like
yeah,
I was like trying to like strategically place them, and
yeah,
like, and I don't, I honestly I don't know if it matters to be honest, which is kind of funny, but you know, it's interesting, right? Like this is a interesting one gameplay wise because like I think I could see the appeal, but yeah. But
yeah,
let's move on to the story. There's not really a story. You have characters. Um, I mean, unless you got a story out of it. But it's a roguelike, right? Like there
yeah,
you got like a decent amount of like these raccoons that you get to play as, which is cool. You got like different kinds of abilities and stuff like that, and like how the runs are gonna go. But it's not something I'm looking for a story out of, which according to me is no video game anyway, right?
yeah. No, there's not really a story. There's like those interesting raccoon characters, and that's about it. So yeah, I wouldn't go into this, you know,
Now,
trying to get a story
yeah.
out of it.
Now visually, I do think the game looks good, but like there is a lot. Like I think you hinted at the UI. UI is a little brutal at times, like especially certain things. I mean, like I think once you get a handle of what you're like looking for in the shop, it looks fine, looks good. And then it did take me like a hot minute to like really understand everything that was going on the screen during the actual run, right? Because like you got the meter happening over there on the left, and then you have you have your keychains, but like there's no like indicator. I feel like when your keychain's doing the thing it wants to do, right? It's
Yeah.
not it's not like blinging like a Joker would in Balatro. So like I didn't like that, but I did kind of like the idea of where you store your special coins.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of cool, and the way they kind of like come out of their little slots, and that was cool to see how they interacted with the rest of the coins when they land, which was neat, right? Like I think that there's a lot of positive here in the visuals actually, but it could just be cleaned up a tiny bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I think there's useful information here. And my favorite part was also how you store the coins and how you can expand it. And it's just a cool little visual there. Um, but I agree, like with the passives, or I guess the chips is what they're called, and then the prizes or the one-time thing. I couldn't figure out when they were triggering. They I guess they do get a little bigger, but it's not super apparent. And like in a game like Balatro, it's like the jokers are the focus of how you're
Mm-hmm.
building things. And I feel like in this game, it should be those chips that are kind of how and the different coins, is how you're kind of building your run. Like the one time things are like whatever. It's like Slay the Spire where you're like, I'm gonna hold on to this until I need it. But in terms of like building out your run, like the chips and the coins should I think the coins are kind of more front and center, but the chips aren't really as front and center as I'd like them to be. And yeah, I just think that there's a lot going on, right? Like you got the goal up there on the screen, you got your rate, like you got how many coins you have in your hand, uh the controls for how to deploy the coins. Like I just think it's a little busy, everything
Mm,
that's going on. And I know that is the point once things get a little crazy with your combos, but I felt like it was that way from the beginning. And I also think that the Balatro influence here, because I'm not saying Balatro is the first game to have like scan lines and things like that, but
mm,
I feel like it kind of hurts this game that it's like trying to have a similar aesthetic maybe to like Balatro. Because even in the beginning, you can first choose like your pixel density or whatever they call it, where you can either have it be like smooth or you can have it look a little pixelated or like very pixelated. And I feel like it didn't even need to be this art style. Excuse me. Like
mm.
it could have been more like a I don't know, like maybe like slots and dagger ish, or more realistic even. Um
Like
like
Clover Pit or something like
yeah, like
that.
Clover Pit. Yeah, like I think it that adds to the busyness, like the way that the art is. So I think in a vacuum, everything looks pretty good. It looks interesting. Like if I saw this at PAX, I'd be like, oh, like what is this? But then when you're actually playing it, it's a little too busy for me. And I feel like it's the same thing with the kind of the gameplay side of things. So yeah, yeah, some work to be done there, I think, in terms of streamlining everything.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind that as much, but yeah, the UI was the biggest thing. Now, the biggest thing that I was like, is this just Balatro? Is the soundtrack?
Hmm.
To be honest, and if you listen to the soundtrack, it was like this is just like the Balatro theme in a different key, in a different tempo, which is kind of funny.
Yeah,
Which I don't know. To be honest, I don't know if it's the same person who did it, and it's like totally fine. It's published by the same publisher, and that Balatro like soundtrack's incredible. Like
yeah,
I know it from a million of miles away at this point, right? Like somebody playing Balatro, are they listening to the soundtrack on their Spotify? But which is not, it's not a bad thing. It's just like be your own game. I think
hmm,
like this game like definitely has a lot of its own personality. I think it could have um, had that there as well, in my opinion, right? Like I don't
yeah,
think it's like a deal breaker or anything like that. Now I will say the sound effects are very. This is where the dopamine stuff kind of comes in. You're like, oh yeah,
yeah,
like get those coins. Like when they start really falling, and then like the special coins are doing some crazy stuff. I'm like, this is the sauce in this
yeah.
game. I think for sure, but that's just my kind of read on it because I was thinking about it. I was like, I think this was just, and I had to go back and listen to the soundtrack. I'm like, wow, that's like so similar.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I'm right there with you. Like I was actually I was playing this on the Thor a little bit as I showed you before the pod, but I just had it up like next to me and I was just listening to the soundtrack while I worked. And I was thinking the same thing. I was like, is this gonna transition into the Balatro soundtrack at some point? Because it
Yeah.
kind of sounded like it. Which again is not necessarily a bad thing, but it also means this game doesn't have. It's hard to have its own identity in terms of the sound when you're kind of comparing it to another game. And I hate to
Mhm.
keep bringing up Balatro with it because it is published by the same publisher, but it's just kind of what you notice. And sound effect wise, that's yeah, agreed. With where like kind of the dopamine hits are happening and all the different coins you get and when the coin stack falls and yeah, it's kind of all those sounds you expect to hear. Um, so yeah, I didn't have a problem with the sound. It just was very similar to Balatro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure was.
yeah.
Now, performance wise, it worked fine for me. I know you played a little bit on the Thor, but I don't think we could count
Oh, we're counting,
like
all right.
the
This
count.
game
Hey,
was
if you
built
want
for Android. No, I
to.
played on PC as well. It ran great. no issues whatsoever with this game. It even ran well on Android, so didn't have really any issues there. But yeah, no problem. But here we go, Tommy.
Here we go. We have to give our rating for this game. This is a rating system that we have always used, actually. Never changed it. Certified Fresh Juice. These are our Balatros of the world, our Hollow Knight, Silk Songs, etc., etc. A Steel. These are games that are really good, but not quite great, like a Certified Fresh Juice. These are games like Pepper Grinder. I'm trying to see what else we gave. Both gave a Steel. The Cub. Secrets of Grindia. On Sale. These are games that maybe have some issues, but could be worked through, or maybe it's just like, maybe not really getting the most value out of this at the current price, so maybe wait for it to go on sale. These are games like, to us, like Hellskate, Bish Bash Bots, Wizard with a Gun, etc. Manager Special. These are games that kind of like aren't really for us, or play on a deep discount, free to play, etc. Maybe you want to try it out. These are games like, what do we give? Astor, Blade of the Monolith, Grand Soul Story, Rin, The Last Child, and then finally Spoiled Milk. These are games that we we think nobody should play, and I think the only double Spoiled Milk was Beyond Citadel,
Yeah.
as far as I can see. But Matt, what is your rating for Raccoin Coin Pusher Roguelike?
So I'm gonna give this game a I'm gonna give it a manager special. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm giving
Okay.
it a manager special, and it's just yeah, it's like teetering, I guess, on manager special and on sale, but it's just not for me. It's not my kind of game. Like I said, I've never been in the coin pushers type of things, and I was hoping that the fact this is a roguelike, Balatro like, right? It would kind of hook me, and it just didn't. I just think, I was just looking actually that this game has sold over 100,000 units already. It's got very positive ratings on Steam. So I would just say if you're into the type of things I'm into, you might not like this game, but it seems like the majority of people are having a good time with it. So it's just not for me. So I'm giving it a manager special. Um, yeah, that's where I'm at. So what about you, Tommy?
All
Are you a
right.
little higher on it?
I am a little higher on it. I'm gonna give it like an on sale. And honestly, like, if I remove some of it, some of like my issues with it, I could see why people are really liking it.
Yeah.
I don't dislike this game whatsoever. Like, I actually like had an okay time with it, and I think like an okay time is fine for an on sale. I think that it might not be for me, but I think in the end, there's a lot of positive here to
Hmm.
be taken away from it. It's just, I don't know if it's really just like, I think it just lacks an identity. I think that's probably its biggest issue, right? Because it lacks an identity with itself, and like trying to compare it to other games in the similar genres. It lacks identity in its kind of game design. I think like, I feel like they kind of started with something that was probably really boring, right?
Hmm.
Coin pusher, right? That's kind of a boring thing when you're not actually winning money or tickets, like in
Yeah.
real life, I think. And then we're like, we'll keep adding stuff. And it felt like they just kept throwing stuff onto it. It was like,
Hmm.
what if we add a special wheel that spins when we get to this point? Yeah, throw that in there. What if you can only have certain amount of coins, and you can't reuse them? Okay, we'll throw that on there. Oh, what if we have, items that can go onto the board? Throw that in there. Which, like, some of it works really well, but it just feels like it just was kind of a Frankenstein's monster of
Yeah.
a game in a way. But
Yeah. I would almost prefer, like, I don't know how this would work, but I would almost prefer if, like, we were more in control of all the coins that were on there, right? If, like, maybe the first step is you you choose 20 coins, right? And you start with that, or maybe not all the coins, but you choose more coins to kind of start with. It's almost like your starting
Hmm.
deck, right? And then you kind of go into it, because I just felt it's kind of tying into like the fact that it didn't ramp up that well. That maybe could help, but anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're saying a lot of the same things. So we ended up landing in a similar spot for this one. Look at
Similar
that.
spot, but
Yeah.
two different ratings,
Yeah. Yep.
notably.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was wondering. I thought you were either gonna hate it or love it, and I was like, I'm so in the middle.
Yeah.
I was like, um, but hey,
You know who I think would like this one probably? Can you guess who maybe would like this one?
Pat,
Our cousin Dan, maybe. He plays
cousin
the coin
Dan,
pusher games.
yeah, yeah,
I've seen him play a lot of them, and maybe it's just for the
yeah,
tickets. I don't know.
yeah,
It probably
yeah.
is, but like maybe he'd be into this one. But that's what I mean, is like there's people out there that like could be really into this, you know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's definitely not a total dud like across the board, you
No,
know. It's
no,
not a
for
golem,
sure.
right? So
No, no.
yeah.
I didn't play Gollum. It could be a hidden gem there. Now we have some listener questions. These could be submitted on the Fresh Juice Discord, as I mentioned at the top of the show. First one comes from Bags, who asks, "Who is your favorite magical athlete racer?" Now, if you don't know what magical athlete is, it is a board game that is incredible. Look it up. It's amazing. It's so much fun.
Duelist, obviously.
Yeah.
It's just the racer I like. His name's Duelist, and anytime he is on a space with one other racer, you can just shout duel, and then you both roll your dice. Whoever's got the highest roll gets to move two, and then you win ties. So actually, it's not even just one other racer. It could be any amount of racers.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's fun about this one is that the starting space that everyone's on in the beginning counts.
Counts.
So
Yeah.
in the beginning of the game, I could just go duel, and I could just duel everyone
Do it
until
until
I
you
win.
win.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So I just have a lot of fun with it, because I feel like, especially people that are new to the game, don't realize how often that will happen. So I'm always
Yeah.
like, I am taking the Duelist, because
It's just
he
hilarious.
doesn't really win ever, like, but it's just fun to, kind of mess up things, and yeah, just duel people. So it's good. That's definitely Duelist for me.
I don't. So there's so many really cool ones. Like Huge Baby is hilarious. I think Sisyphus is kind of like a sneaker. There's not a sneaker, sneaky one. Like you just like get 4 points right off the rip, and you just hope you don't roll six or
Yeah.
whatever. So, but I think Scoocher, which is like
Oh,
kind of overpowered, especially
yeah.
in a game with a lot of players. Scoocher is like a dog that's like scooching his butt across the floor, and whenever anybody else's power happens, you get to move one. So you're just like let's say Duelist is in the game. He's yelling duel, I'm moving one, duel, I'm moving
Yeah.
one, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. But
Yeah.
amazing game.
Great game, and I'm very excited to like try out different boards. Just
Mm-hmm.
expansions for that game. I feel like it gets so fun and
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
Yeah,
New characters and stuff like that.
yeah.
Capolo asks, "What's in store for the podcast in the short and long term? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?"
Um, like in the Hamptons, probably in our own
Yeah,
studio.
that's where
Yeah,
the Hamptons.
yeah. Well, I think when we started the show, we've always talked about like getting developers on and doing interviews. We've never really done that, and
Mm,
I still feel like we don't have, like, since we're both, we're not in the same room, right? Like
yeah,
the tech side can get a little like complicated, and we have like a decent setup now, but I don't think we're there yet to like, we want, if we invite someone on the podcast, we want it to be a seamless experience of like
yeah.
there's no tech issues and things like that. But I could see us doing that in the future. Really, we're just both kind of strapped for time. You got a new house, you're
Mm-hmm.
travel a lot for work. I got the baby and stuff. And it's just finding time to do those things is also a problem. And then you have your other podcasts where you also have to schedule guests, right? So like
Yeah.
that takes time. So I could see us doing that, I guess, in the long term. In the short term, I mean, I'm just excited to play new indie games and
Yeah.
just talk about them. You know, I don't think we ever kind of set out with this podcast to be like, this is going to be, you know,
Mm-hmm.
our moneymaker or something like that. We were just both like, oh, we like trying indie games. And this is honestly just an excuse for us to just keep that
Hang out.
habit going and hang out, you know, like
Yeah.
hang out. And yeah, it's just, I think, you know, we don't really have, we don't really talk about like, you know, we're going to make it
Yeah.
big kind of thing. I mean, the biggest thing we do is PAX, where we get to talk to
Mm-hmm.
developers, and even there, we really just want to hang out and play games, you know. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what I'm
We
thinking. But you
we've
know,
talked about like kind of goals for like us going to PAX,
yeah,
right? Like, like we talked a lot about it this past trip where we're like, we want to stay in the hotel attached to PAX, do the 4 day pass so that we can kind of have the flexibility to come into PAX, play some games, go back to the room, which would also allow us to kind of like, I mean, set up like a mini studio just for the weekend to be
yeah.
like invite developers over to the room, which most of them are I mean,
You want to come to our room? We got a
no,
tripod set
no.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like a safe
yeah, yeah,
space to
yeah.
invite them and interview them, and we can like honestly, if like it, like if like what you're saying is like we could bang out like 10 interviews.
Yeah. You're not choosing the good. Invite in the room.
I'm
We'll just
not
bang it out real quick. Yeah. No, but
bang
yes,
out 10 of them,
yes. Yeah,
but
I
yeah, we could
agree.
bang out like 10 interviews and like, oh wow, okay, we have like podcasts for the next 10 weeks and we can kind of even like take more time to like review bigger games, bigger indie games and stuff like that. So like
Yeah.
I see other creators do this stuff. It's like obviously like kind of long term, like, but yeah, I mean like I'm Capola, what you're asking here, I'm struggling with what my goal is now at Fresh and Buds. In August, I hit 5 years of that podcast going out
Oh.
weekly,
Yeah.
right? And like I don't want to say I'm getting like burnt out on it, but like I'm definitely feeling like the creative need to switch something up, and I
Yeah.
don't know exactly what it is. So, um, I don't think that would be like not doing it weekly. I think I still want to do it weekly, but it would be a big risk at this point. Like I feel like to like kind of switch it completely, but like maybe I'm looking for a permanent co-host
Yeah.
in that world because chasing down guests as much as I love talking to a bunch of different people, it's like hard. Like tomorrow morning, I got to wake up at 6 a.m. to do a podcast with somebody in Australia,
Yeah.
right? So, like, that's tough. So, I'm going to get a co host from Australia. So, I have to do that every week. No, but East Coast,
Yeah.
preferably.
Plus, you were just talking about how much you miss streaming too. Like maybe that's like
Yeah.
another, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, hey, instead of an episode this week, we're doing another cube draft or whatever. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not, you know, whatever it is. But I think that's also an important thing is that like fresh juice is like a side thing for both of us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Where we almost don't want to take it too seriously
Mm-hmm.
because we're trying to be more serious with our other content. And yeah, I mean, it's a great question, Capolo, because the fact we do episodes every week, it doesn't give us a lot of time to like think. Like the biggest break we ever had was when I had, you know, when I was on paternity leave, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
And that was unpaid from us. No.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, so I think like we don't even have a lot of time to like think about the future. Like the most we've thought is like what Tommy mentioned with PAX and trying that out. So yeah, I mean, I would love for the show to, you know, be recognized as, you know, and maybe that's when we put more focus into it, right? But like I'm just having
Mm-hmm.
fun playing indie games, games I would never played before, and then just talking about it. And the fact that you guys submit questions and listen every week, that just keeps us going, I feel like,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I think I don't, yeah, I mean, who knows? In 5 years, we might not even be doing the podcast, right? Like
Yeah. You never know.
who knows what that looks like. So, or we might not
Like
be
I
doing it
probably will have a
weekly.
kid at some point, and like
Yeah,
like things
maybe
get
it'll be
difficult. So
monthly for a year or something like that.
mm-hmm.
But I'd still, still would love. We love exploring indie games, and whatever way we can share that with you guys, whether it's a podcast or just some other. Maybe we just do a stream of it, which kind of leads into the next question, which I'm
Next
bringing it
question.
up.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
nice.
what we do. But what do we have here as the next question?
Yeah,
Um,
Kmore asks, do you two think you'll ever do a live stream of the game you're reviewing for that week? I would love to. I think like it would just be a matter of us figuring out when.
yeah,
Probably do it through you. You definitely have the better technical capabilities from your side, where I could just be kind of hanging in there. But that would be a lot of fun. I mean, depending on the game, and that could be also something we kind of sometimes will take weeks off. Like I'll review a game, then you'll review a game.
yeah,
That could be something when we get back into that rhythm as well. But yeah,
yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, no, I'd love to do that. I mean, obviously, Kmore, I would stream for years, and I always love doing it. I kind of don't do it as much now, just because it is very time consuming. But I don't know if we would necessarily like replace a review for it. Like a true like it wouldn't be like we
Mm,
would post that stream as the podcast. I guess maybe we would, depending on how we approach it. But we've talked before about like just playing a game on stream, and then we can just kind of openly talk with you guys, and really not like a podcast format. But um I used to do a podcast that was live streamed as well, which was fun because people got to comment like live. It was called The Spoonful. Look it up. But people could submit like if I was wrong about something. There's a lot of things we could do in that world. But yeah, we're definitely interested in doing it. Yeah, it's just about finding the time to do it. So yeah,
yeah, yeah, they're fun. They're fun. I mean, I used
yeah,
to do the Bud Rush Bellow when I had more time, and
yeah,
me and Gary, we had a lot of fun. Would love to do it again. I don't know. It's just there's no time, and like Wednesdays now, I definitely have. Like I have certain events that I do every month, and I just keep adding more because I just want to perform at my job for
yeah,
shareholder value.
yep.
But that does bring us to the rec room. Thank you everybody for the questions and listening, of course. And the rec room is something where we recommend something that perhaps is not an indie game. What do you have to recommend this week?
So I'm actually recommending something that I was playing on my Thor, but also just works on Android, which is really cool. I didn't really know this existed. It's called Game Native. So you can just download like the APK on your Android phone. I don't know if it's on iPhone, but essentially what it is, it lets you play your Steam or Epic or Amazon games, depending on what you log in with, on Android, like natively. So it's not streaming from your computer. It's not like the Android version of the game that's from like the Play Store. Like for example, like Raccoin, I installed it on my Thor and played it on there natively, so I didn't need internet connection, to play it or anything like that, because it's not being streamed. But um, essentially, it's like a community. From what I understand, it's a community kind of sourced platform where games that are compatible with your specific phone or whatever it might be will have a green little check mark saying, "Oh, people tested this game out on your phone, so it should work with like your chip and all that sort of stuff." But it's just really cool. There's so many. I didn't realize how many games were technically compatible. I don't know if it works with like touch controls and stuff like that. You might still need like a little controller thing to attach to your phone, but I think it's a really cool way for people that maybe don't have a PC to still enjoy Steam games if they have like an Android phone. And maybe you own Balatro on Steam, and you can't you can't get it on Android, like you can't afford it, or you don't want to spend that other money. You could download Game Native, install Balatro, and you could play on your phone. It would be the Steam version of the game. So, I don't know, just a really cool thing that someone made that is currently in beta still. So it's getting a lot of updates, but I never knew something like this existed. I always figured you had to just stream it, or you just had to wait for someone to make an Android or a mobile version of the game that you want to play. Many times on our reviews, right, we talk about, oh, this would be great on mobile. Well, now I'm going to be looking on Game Native to be like,
Yeah.
does it work with my phone? Does it work with, the Thor? And then I'll just play it on the go. So check it out. Game Native, one word. There's a GitHub where you can download the APK or whatever. But yeah, so shout out Game Native.
Sweet. I'll be checking that out on the Thor for sure. My recommendation this week is the movie Send Help, which came out, I think, a couple months ago. This is starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. It's directed by Sam Raimi, who everybody loves. Sam Raimi made the original Spider-Man trilogy, the Evil Dead trilogy, and Drag Me to Hell, and there's all these other great movies. And it's basically the story of this woman who works like in like strategy or whatever at this company, and she's kind of like kind of a like just like kind of a nerd, right? Like she's just like really good at her job, but like she doesn't know how to present herself to like or to like climb the ladder. She keeps getting pushed down. It sucks, right? Mm-hmm. And then like she's gonna get this promotion, and then the son of the owner of the company comes in, is now the CEO, and he's like the worst, right? He's like, you're not getting it. My boy who I play golf with is gonna get it. Mm-hmm. So that sucks, but he's like, I'll give you one more chance, because she's like really good at her job. I'll give you one more chance to like prove me wrong. Come on this trip to like Hong Kong with me on this flight. And then the plane crashes, and then they're on a desert island, and it's just her and him. And she was like a big Survivor fan, so she was like, she even like tried out for Survivor. Mm-hmm. So like he's like, you're in my world now, right? And it's like it's like kind of like a dark comedy, and it's nice. Good. It was a lot of fun. It's a good movie,
and it's Rachel McAdams
and it was great.
Yeah, Mr. McAdams.
Mr. McAdams.
That's just a little Dickie song. But I always think of Wedding Crashers when I think of Rachel McAdams.
Interesting. Yeah. I think of Game Night.
Oh, okay.
I think, and then obviously I think of Regina George from Mean Girls, of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was good. It was good. So check that out, folks. That's the end of the show. You can continue to find me on Blue Sky at Fresh Buds Pod for another podcast called Fresh and Buds. This week we have Boosting Spendog, straight from the Down Under, on the show. We're going to be doing a preview of the Pro Tour in Yokohama this weekend, and that'll be a lot of fun. You can show us. You can also find us on all socials at Fresh Juice Pod. Matthew, where can people find you?
Find me at Matty Gorm, Gorm. I will be posting probably some videos related to the Triple I showcase, so be on the lookout for that.
I will be. Yeah. Stay juicy.